What happens when a U.S. president tries to fire one of the most powerful women in American finance, and the courts say no? That's exactly what's happening right now. Donald Trump is locked in a historic legal fight against Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook, and the battle has reached the Supreme Court of the United States. This isn't just a Washington power struggle. The outcome could reshape the independence of the Federal Reserve itself and directly impact inflation, interest rates, your mortgage, your credit card bills, and even the strength of the U.S. dollar. So who is Lisa Cook? She's an economist with decades of experience, a professor at Michigan State University, and the first black woman ever to sit on the Federal Reserve Board of Governors. She was confirmed under President Biden and has a term that runs until 2038. The Federal Reserve Board has 7 governors, each with long terms specifically designed to insulate them from political pressure. They're supposed to focus on one thing: the stability of the U.S. economy. But in August 2025, Trump made a shocking announcement. He accused Cook of committing mortgage fraud years earlier, claiming she listed 2 properties, one in Ann Arbor and another in Atlanta, as her primary residence at the same time. Cook denies any wrongdoing, saying the allegations are politically motivated and irrelevant to her current office. Within hours, she filed a lawsuit. And suddenly, her personal defense turned into a constitutional battle over whether a president can remove a Federal Reserve governor before their term ends. The courts have already weighed in, and they're not siding with Trump. In district court, Judge Gia Cobb issued a preliminary injunction blocking the firing. She said Cook had a strong case that the for-cause removal rule only applies to conduct while in office, not before. The Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit refused to overturn that decision, keeping Cook in her seat for now. And so, Trump's team has escalated the fight to the Supreme Court, asking for emergency relief, essentially saying, "Let us fire her immediately while the case plays out." Cook's legal argument is twofold. 1. Statutory protection. The Federal Reserve Act explicitly says governors serve fixed terms and can only be removed for cause. Legal scholars argue that means misconduct while in office, such as corruption, negligence, or abuse of power, not allegations from before. 2. Due process. By law, if removal is even considered, she's entitled to notice and a fair chance to defend herself. Trump announced her firing publicly, without hearings, without notice, effectively bypassing due process protections. So far, both lower courts have agreed with her. This might sound like inside baseball, one official fighting to keep her job, but here's why it matters to you. The Federal Reserve controls the most important levers of the U.S. economy. It sets interest rates, affecting mortgages, credit cards, and business loans. It fights inflation, deciding how much money flows through the system. It works to keep unemployment low and the financial system stable. To do that effectively, the Fed has to stay independent of politics. If a president could simply fire a governor over allegations, or worse, because they disagree on policy, the central bank could become just another political tool. Think about it. If Trump pressures the Fed to cut interest rates before an election to juice the economy, or if a future president pushes for higher rates to punish rivals, your wallet becomes collateral damage. That could mean mortgage rates swinging wildly, savings accounts losing value in inflationary spikes, retirement investments shaken by political drama. This fight isn't just about Lisa Cook's career. It's about whether your money is shielded from politics or at the mercy of it. Now, the Supreme Court holds the gavel. The Trump administration insists that for cause includes any serious misconduct, even if it happened before Cook joined the Fed. They argue that public trust requires removing officials tainted by scandal, past or present. Cook's lawyers fire back. If that's the rule, then no Fed governor is safe. Presidents could dig up old disputes or unproven allegations to remove anyone they dislike. At the heart of this case lies a nearly 90-year-old precedent: Humphrey's Executor versus United States. In 1935, the Supreme Court ruled that the president cannot remove members of independent agencies just because of political disagreements. It was a safeguard, ensuring agencies like the Fed, the FTC, and others operate with stability. If the court narrows or overturns that precedent, the Fed's independence could be permanently weakened. So what's really at stake here? This case isn't just Trump versus Cook. It's the White House versus the independence of the Federal Reserve. If Trump wins, Future presidents could reshape the Fed to serve political goals, lowering rates to win elections, raising them to punish opponents, or pushing for policies that create short-term gains but long-term instability. If Cook wins, the court reaffirms that the Fed must remain insulated from politics, protecting its credibility in the eyes of markets, investors, and foreign governments. And remember, global markets run on trust in the dollar. If that trust cracks, the ripple effects won't just hit Wall Street. They'll hit gas stations in Ohio, supermarkets in Texas, and retirement accounts in Florida. Let's break down some key questions you might have. Q1. Why is Lisa Cook important? Because she's one of 7 governors whose votes shape interest rates, decisions that ripple through every household budget. Q2. Can presidents normally fire Fed officials? No. Governors have 14-year terms and can only be removed for cause. That protects them from political pressure. Q3. What happens if Trump wins? It could set a precedent that presidents can fire Fed governors based on past disputes, effectively turning the Fed into a political arm of the White House. Q4. And if Cook wins? It reinforces Fed independence and ensures central bankers can make tough decisions, like raising rates to fight inflation, without fear of political retaliation. The Supreme Court has given Lisa Cook until September 25th to respond. After that, the justices will decide whether Trump can move forward with her dismissal, or if the Fed remains shielded from presidential power. So let me ask you, should a president have the power to fire central bankers? Or should the Federal Reserve remain fully independent? Tell us what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more finance news, and share this story, because the outcome of this case could shape the future of the U.S. economy.